Today's video is for your quiz 5.2 review. So the first question on your quiz today is going to ask you for the right triangles below to find the exact values of the side lengths D and H, or they might have different numbers. Basically, remember that you are going to, let me grab the right color here, find the exact values, that you are going to write your responses in simplified radical form. That means you have to leave the square roots. So I've gone ahead and on both of my triangles, I have labeled the hypotenuses and I have labeled the legs. Now don't forget that one of your triangles is going to be the 30, 60, 90, so it's going to have a short leg and a long leg, and the other triangle is going to be your 45, 45, 90, and it's going to have two equal legs. This one came from 5.3, this one came from 5.4. It's foldable, okay? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into that diamond center of my foldable, and I'm going to start labeling, like the short leg is A, the long leg is A times the square root of 2, and the hypotenuse is 2 times A. Now, if you'll notice, the hypotenuse is not marked at all. There is no letter or number there, so I don't even have to have this. I could go ahead and take this away. I'm looking here at the two values that they placed on the two legs, and I want to find the number. It is right here. It is 8. I'm going to put an equal sign in between those, and I have to solve this equation because, as you can see as I write it down here, A is not alone. I have to get rid of it. To get rid of it, I'm simply going to divide both sides by the square root of 2. Now I'm going to take this part right here and I'm going to place it into my calculator. I must place it into my scientific calculator, the blue one inside the box at your table. 8 divided by the square root of 2, and the calculator is going to give me the answer. So the value of A is going to be 4 square roots of 2. And as I can see right here, I have marked the value of D to be the value of A. They are the same. And so that's my answer right here. And I'm going to leave it in that form. I'm not going to hit that SD button and change it to a decimal. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the other one. And I'm going to change my blue ever so slightly. Actually, in fact, I think I'll change it to purple so that we can focus on that one. I'm looking at 5.3 foldable, and in the middle it says the two legs are A and that the hypotenuse is A times the square root of 2. Same thing, here is my number, so I'm going to set those equal. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to ask myself, is A alone? Yes, it is. A is equal to 3. This is just a substitution problem. I'm going to go ahead and just plug it in. And so I'm going to come up here to H to find H. H is equal to A times the square root of 2. Now, can I go to my calculator? Yes, I can, but all I have to do is change this letter A to the number 3 that I see right above, and so my answer would be 3 square roots of 2. So don't forget for question number 1, do not hit the SD button. You will get it counted wrong. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at question number 2. Now look in question number 2, it says round your answer to the nearest tenth. So for this one, I do want to hit the SD button, and I do want to make sure that I use my decimal. All right, so I have gone ahead and labeled them again as the hypotenuse and the legs and the short and the long. Notice once again, when the numbers are the same, you want to use 5.3. When the numbers inside the triangles are different, you want to use 5.4. That's how you're going to know which foldable to use. So let's go ahead and start with this one from 5.3. I'm going to use my triangle to label as A times the square root of 2, and then of course this would be A. Now notice again, they're telling me that A is equal to 3. This is a solved equation. This is a solved equation. So now it just becomes substitution. To find that letter A, it is equal to the purple A, or sorry, no it's not. Hold on. hold on. It's equal to the purple A times the square root of 2. So I am going to plug in 3 right here. And so I have 3 square roots of 2. Can that happen? Yes. Alex is an algorithm. We have that same problem. Oh, wait, but that's not my answer because it's asking it for a decimal. So I'm going to put that into my calculator and I'm going to go ahead and hit the SD button. This is what I get. And there's a bunch more answers. Remember, to the nearest tenth, let me go ahead and grab a color. To the nearest tenth, I think of the number 10, so I want one number after the decimal. Find the decimal, one number. The number right next to it is going to tell me if I should let it rest or add one more. It is 4, which is 4 or less, so I'm going to go ahead and let it rest, and my answer is going to be 4.2. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30, 60, 90. This is 5.4. So there we go. This is 5.4. I'm going to use my triangles to help me out. So I'm going to use my notes to help me out. The triangles in the center. There we go. And this one is that. So here is the problem that they're giving me. And I can notice, I'm going to put it up here actually because I need the space. I can see very easily that A is not alone, and so I'm going to go ahead and solve this. I'm simply going to solve this by dividing by the square root of 3, and I'm going to let my calculator do that dividing for me. So to find the value of the blue A, which is going to help me find B, I am going to plug this into my calculator. I'm not going to press the square, I'm not going to press the SD yet. I'm just going to place that in my calculator, and this is what I get. All right, they are asking me to solve for D. So I'm going to go ahead and look right over here. D is 2 times the square root of A. Or sorry, D is 2 times A, there we go, and A is 7 square roots of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and place that into my calculator, 2 times 7 square roots of 3, and I get this. Now remember, it's telling me to round this time, so I'm going to hit the SD button. I get 24.248. That's enough. I'm going to go ahead and round now. Let me grab my rounding color. And I'm going to go ahead and let this rest at 24.2 because it's 4 once again. All right, then the rest of your quiz, the last 3 questions, are going to give you a review of 5.1 and 5.2. Question number 3 is going to be, or this question is going to be the Pythagorean theorem. So this is where we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So let me go ahead and grab my colors. There we go. You should have a problem like this that is, hold on, sorry. That is a word problem, okay? I chose the word problem. So you'll know that you're going to do the Pythagorean theorem because you're going to see some kind of picture. Mine's a building with the sun. You might have the kite. These are the ones that I've seen. Maybe a ladder, something like that. I have labeled the hypotenuse. Remember, the hypotenuse is the most important part because this is my C value. The other ones are going to be my A value and my B value. And now I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to substitute them in. So 35 squared plus question mark squared equals 38 squared. Now, if you don't want to do question mark, you can change it to the letter B or you can change it to the letter X. It doesn't matter. It's not a bad idea to go ahead and drop the parenthesis down. There we go. Or to drop the equal sign down. Now what I want to show you here is that mine 2 numbers are on opposite sides. My 2 numbers are on opposite sides. And so since they are separated by the line through the equal sign, I am going to have to subtract. If they were together and there was an add between them, of course, I would go ahead and add. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract. And then to get rid of that square so that the x is by itself, I simply put the square root into the calculator. I'm putting in the square root of the 219, not the x. And I'm going to hit the SD button because notice right here, it does say round your answer to the nearest tenth. It does say if necessary. That part is there because some of you may get a whole number answer. And so then it's not necessary to round. This is what I got. Oh no, wait, it's 8. That's more than enough. It does say to the nearest tenth, so remember you're thinking the number 10, only one number after the decimal. This is the one that's going to decide if you add one more or let it rest. It is 5 or more, so I'm going to say 14.8 is what I'm going to put into the box. All right, continuing with 5.1, you are going to get a question asked to answer about triangles. This is the converse. So basically all you have to do for these questions, let me grab my laser right here, is put this problem into the calculator, this part right here, hit the equal sign and give me the answer. So 5 squared plus 8 squared, you can put it in all at once, is 89. And then 11 squared is 121. Then you're just going to ask yourself which one is bigger. If the top one is bigger, if this number is bigger, the triangle is acute. If this number is bigger, the triangle is obtuse. And if they are equal, then the triangle is right. So as I can see right here, this number is bigger, so this is an obtuse triangle. All right, let's go ahead and do the next one. 9 squared plus 10 squared. I'm just putting it into my calculator. 12 squared is 144. As I can see, this one is bigger, so that is acute. To be right, they must be equal. All right, and the they that I'm talking about are those two right there. All right. Last question is going to be from 5.2. This is the one where you have to use the geometric the geometric mean. You're going to use your foldable to help you decide which proportion you are going to use. Go ahead and make sure you take a look at this altitude right here. If it is labeled with a number or a letter, then you need to use the one that says altitude and altitude. It should say altitude right here, and it should say altitude right there. And then it has some other words in those places. But as you can see for mine, there is no altitude labeled, so I'm going to use the one that says this. I'm going to use the one that says leg, whole, hypotenuse, and then the part of the hypotenuse. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my colors to help me out. The leg that is given is either going to be one of these two. There's the leg, so I'm going to use it in blue. So there's my leg, and there's my leg. The whole hypotenuse is going to be the number that goes all the way across the bottom. So that's what I'm going to put for my whole hypotenuse. And the part that I need is either going to be this part or that part. And notice that they gave me this one, so I'm going to use part 1. So let me go ahead and grab that light pink. I'm going to do part 1 of the hypotenuse. All right, now I can go ahead that I have everything color coordinated. I can go ahead and put in the numbers like the blue 7 goes, the 7 goes there and there because as I can see, it is in blue right here. I can also see that right here on the top, I'm going to put the whole hypotenuse, so that is the number 9. And then of course, right here, my part 1 is the letter Z. I'm going to put a little line in it. I'm going to go ahead and cross multiply. So 9 times z is 9z, and 7 times 7 is 49. Notice that it does say right here, do not approximate your answer. That means you either have to leave it as a square root or you have to leave it as a fraction. Those are the two answer choices that you're going to get. Now, to leave it as a square root, you have to have the letter squared. Notice my letter is not squared. There's no exponent up here. So mine is going to be a fraction because there's multiplication hiding in between there. So to get rid of it, I'm simply going to divide. I'm going to place that into my calculator to see if it gets any smaller. No, it does not. This is the fraction that my calculator gives me. So this is my answer. All right, you guys, good luck. You've got this.